Hey guys, Jacob Howard here, and in this video we are going to explore rates and Expo. Rates in Expo control how your drone will react to your stick inputs. Usually when you adjust your rates in Expo, you are trying to find a balance between faster or slower drone movements and more precise ones. Now, when we change rates in Expo, we change what's called the rate curves. If we take a look here in Betaflight under the PID tuning tab, and then in the rates tab, we can see the rate curves. There are 3 columns of value that will change the shape of the 3 different rate curves. These columns are RC rate, rate, formerly called super rate in previous versions of Betaflight, and RC Expo. The RC rate will adjust how fast your drone will spin on an axis and is measured in degrees per second. For example, 360 degrees per second will mean that with full stick input, your drone will rotate a full 360 degrees in 1 second. Raising and lowering the RC rate value will increase and decrease the max degrees per second your drone will spin on each axis. Now, when I take away the rate in Expo and we're left with just RC rate, the rate curve becomes a straight line. So your stick inputs will react in a very linear fashion. This simply means that the more stick input you give, the more the drone will spin, but in a very predictable, linear way. However, this can make it very hard to make small adjustments around the center of the stick. You can see that as I move the drone around, it's hard to level it back out without overshooting. Moving over to the rate column, we see that adjusting the values here will add a curve to the straight line and also increase the max rotation rate. This curve makes it so that around the center of the stick, the rotation rate will be less. Then the further you move the stick, the rotation rate will increase until at full stick input, the drone is rotating at the max rotation rate. So as you can see, when we add rate into the mix, it flattens out the center of the curve and makes it a lot easier to level out the drone and make small adjustments around the center of the stick, but still gives you the full authority the further the stick is moved. If you want to keep your max rotation rate set at a certain point, then after you add rate, decrease the RC rate until you reach your desired max rotation rate. Now, let's see how adding exponential affects the rate curve. Adding exponential or Expo will flatten out the center of the curve, giving you finer adjustments around center stick. Kind of like rate does, but unlike rate, adjusting Expo will not adjust the max rotation rate. If you look at the curve, you can see that it grows exponentially until you are at max rotation. This means that with a lot of Expo, your drone will be very slow to respond around the center of the stick, but the further you push the stick, the rotation rapidly increases. This can make the drone hard to control because when you start reaching full stick input, the drone will go from slow rotation to fast very quickly, making it hard to keep your orientation while flying. So as you can see in these examples, it's best to have a good mix of RC rate, rate, and RC Expo. So now that you know what all 3 of these settings do and how to use them, feel free to experiment with different rate tunes and try new things. Figuring out the settings you like will really depend on you and how you want the drone to feel when flying. We recommend starting at default settings and then adjusting from there. It's also advisable to make small adjustments, fly it to see how it feels, and adjust accordingly. Making drastic changes to rates can be disorienting and may lead to crashes. We will be going over some specific rate tunes like freestyle, cinematic, etc. in other videos, so be sure to check them out. If you guys have any questions, definitely let us know, and have fun flying.